voice for everyone. KSHB 41 News starts right now.
More local students head back to class today, but some schools are still scrambling to find enough bus drivers.
We're hearing from parents in one district that just found out their kids will not have a ride to school this week.
It's just really hard to hear, and it's so unfair.
Plus, our I-team is investigating a police raid on a small Kansas newspaper. Why there are First Amendment concerns in Marion.
We would rather die than not get published.
And still to come, you will meet a local KSHB nonprofit that is empowering refugees by teaching them sewing skills so they can earn a living. Details coming up on KSHB 41 News today.
But first this morning at 6 a.m., former President Donald Trump facing another criminal indictment.
That's right. This is the fourth set of criminal charges against Trump, and this time he's facing those charges along with some of his top allies. Let's get to Ray Daniel joining us in the newsroom to walk us through this indictment. Ray?
Lindsay and Taylor, a Fulton County grand jury, charged the former president with 13 counts, including racketeering and conspiracy, accusing him of trying to overturn the state's 2020 election results. District Attorney Fannie Willis announced the charges just before midnight. She launched the 2.5-year-long investigation shortly after audio leaked from a January 2021 phone call between the former president and Georgia's Secretary of State. In addition to the former president, 18 of Trump's political allies are facing charges in this case, such as former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and attorney Rudy Giuliani. Now, this is a look at all the defendants who face 41 total charges. Willis says he wants to go to trial within 6 months and plans to try all 19 defendants together.
The participants in association took various actions in Georgia and elsewhere to block the counting of the votes of the presidential electors.
Trump continues to say he did nothing wrong and posted on social media this morning, the witch hunt continues. Some of his allies also came to his defense even before the indictment was unsealed. Arrest warrants have been issued for everyone who's been charged. Those defendants, including Trump, have 10 days to turn themselves in to Georgia officials voluntarily. So we'll continue the story, and coming up at 6:30, congressional correspondent Stephanie Liebergen will join us live to discuss this indictment. Taylor?
Ray, thank you. KCPD needs your help to find a missing girl this morning. Her name is Amelia Mack. She was last seen around 9:30 last night in the area of 17th and Bennington. Excuse me, Marek is her name. She's about 4 feet tall with brown hair and brown eyes. If you see her, please call 911 right away.
All right, 6:02 this morning. Checking into the meteorologist, Lindsay Anderson. Low 60s to start.
Unbelievable out there, Linz. I mean, we love a good summer cold front when it brings these kind of conditions. So that moved through Sunday. You could see the front well to our southeast, and now we've got just some nice weather to soak in today. I really hope you can enjoy it because we're talking a big-time warm-up by the weekend, okay? So we've got some low clouds out there this morning. They're not going to last.
Thank you very much. 6:03 this morning. First day class for students in several local districts. Happy first day of school to the Basehor-Linwood district, kindergartners through 6th grade going back, as well as high school freshmen. So can't wait for them. All students head back for the Lewisburg district as well, and Leavenworth United School District, St. James Academy, the Shawnee Mission School District sending their 1st through 7th graders back, as well as freshmen and seniors, and kindergarten through freshmen go on their first day in Spring Hill School District. We hope you have a wonderful first day kicking off the new year. Tomorrow's the first day for Academy Lafayette in Kansas City, and unfortunately last night the school posted this message announcing they don't have enough bus transportation for families at their Cherry campus this week. So school leaders say the bus service for student just didn't have enough drivers. We heard from parents who say they're concerned about the unexpected challenges this is going to create for them.
It likely means that we're going to have to pay for some version of before and after care out of our own pocket that we weren't anticipating or budgeting for.
The school says they'll give an update on buses today. We also heard from First Student, who tells us applications are steady and they have drivers in training right now. First Student offering $3,000 sign-on bonuses and pay starting at $20 an hour.
Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas will announce plans this morning for his multidisciplinary public safety task force, established last month with the goal of improving businesses and establishments with a high number of incidents, complaints, or business violations. Back in June, a mass shooting in a parking lot for businesses off 57th and Prospect ended with 3 people dead and 5 others hurt. The 3 victims were 28-year-old Chastity Strong, 29-year-old Camden Brown, and 22-year-old Nico Manning. Police say they've had several 911 calls related to that area, which is prompting the mayor to call for business licenses to be revoked. The mayor calls it an unlicensed club operation in his request. The new task force will be charged with reaching businesses seeing similar issues to this and holding them accountable.
This morning, the KSHB 41 I-Team investigating a raid on a small Kansas newspaper, the Marion County Record, over First Amendment concerns. That has gained national attention. Officers in Marion say the search was over what they call, quote, identity theft.
It's believed to have been prompted by a story last Wednesday when Congressman Jake LaTurner visited a local restaurant in the county. The owner of the restaurant asked the reporters to leave, accusing the newspaper of partially fabricating previous stories and using her credentials to get information only available to law enforcement.
Senior I-Team reporter Jessica McMaster was in Marion yesterday
and met with people working at the newspaper to hear their concerns about this unprecedented raid.
The staff here at Marion County Record are still working at 10 o'clock at night. One of those staff members told me when police arrived for the raid, they came in through this back door, that no one knew they were here until that staff member says she heard a commanding voice walk up behind her.
Okay, get it done quickly because that's all we've got.
Marion County Record, this is Sherry. Can I help you?
It's a busy day at Marion County Record, just 3 days after a raid where police seized computers, cell phones, and servers from the newspaper. Staff is working overtime to make sure they publish their weekly newspaper.
We would rather die than not get published.
A daunting task after both the Marion Police Department and Sheriff's Office simultaneously seized equipment from in this office and at Meyer's home where he lived with his 98-year-old mother, Joanne Meyer. The KSHB 41 News I-Team obtained this video surveillance from the newspaper's cameras that show the raid.
I hope it's worth it for the people who took the documents from and took the servers from us. I don't know what they're going to find.
Sherry Bentz is the office manager. Her desk faces the front door. She tells us she was at her desk working when she heard a startling command come from behind her, demanding she go outside.
And I hear Sherry, and I looked up, and there's the police chief and a county deputy standing there. You need to come outside. And it was just like, why? What's going on?
It all started when Marion County Record received a tip that a restaurant owner had a drunk driving incident back in 2008 and was driving without a license. One of the reporters used a state website to verify the information.
We decided in the end it wasn't worth pursuing.
Meyer says he did take the information to police, saying the newspaper would cooperate with any investigation. What'd they say?
Nothing. They said a week later they showed up at our door and seized our computers.
While this raid happened at this office, another one took place at Meyer's home. He was there with his mom as police searched through their personal property.
How dare they go into the home of a 98-year-old woman who has devoted 50 years of her life to helping the community through this newspaper, who's loved by many people, who still was working for the paper, and have her last day be one where someone has invaded her house, stared at her mercilessly, acted like she's a common criminal.
She died the next day.
Have you even had time to process that?
No.
A copy of the search warrant obtained by the I-Team was signed by Judge Laura Vire. It's not clear without the application for warrant why she signed it. It appears to be illegal as the law requires law enforcement to subpoena materials from journalists, not raid their offices.
That may be the police training tactics in Vladimir Putin's land, but it's not necessarily the police training tactics in the United States.
Police Chief Gideon Cody, who the I-Team revealed used to work for the Kansas City Police Department, sent us a statement saying in part that's not true in cases where there's reason to believe the journalist is taking part in the underlying wrongdoing. Meyer says he and his team are not criminals for doing what journalists do every day, looking into a tip.
Bullies will be bullies, and this was an attempt to harass and bully us. It may have involved more than just the police chief. It may also have been an attempt to get information because we had been investigating the police chief.
Tonight, Kansas Bureau of Investigations tells our I-Team they're now the lead agency investigating the, quote,
incidents in Marion County. Our I-team has also put in a request for several records, including that application for warrant. This is what police would provide to the judge, details that would indicate why she should sign off on the warrant. We'll be sure to let you know as soon as we get all those records. For the I-team, I'm Jessica McMaster, KSHB 41 News.
Kansas Bureau of Investigations told our I-team it's also investigating the newspaper. We were the first to break the KBI issued statement that reads in part, KBI did not apply for the search warrants, nor was their agent present for the search, but added, no one is above the law, whether a public official or representative of the media. All right, 6:11 this morning. Chiefs going to be back at training camp in St. Joe today after their day off yesterday. Practice at 9:15 this morning. We expect to hear from head coach Andy Reid after practice.
We are down to the final 3 practices.
Yeah,
The public can go to a training camp. Fans who go to camp will have an opportunity to get autographs from defensive backs. As we mentioned, last week of training camp. Second preseason game is this Saturday. The Chiefs will head back to State Farm Stadium in Glendale to take on the Cardinals. They played there twice last year. Once in Week 1, a win. Once in the Super Bowl, a win. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. You can join us for our pregame coverage at 6 o'clock right here on KSHB 41, your home of the Chiefs.
And coming up next, you will meet a local nonprofit that's transforming the lives of refugees one stitch at a time. Details coming up on KSHB 41 News Today.
Clouds rolling through the area right now this morning, but I promise we were in for a very refreshing, beautiful August day. We'll talk about when the heat returns, though, next.
And a live look at College Boulevard and Metcalf. Eastbound lanes closed right now. We have an update on a crash there right after the break.
Just about to click over to 6:15. Some breaking news we're following this morning. Eastbound College Boulevard at Metcalf shut down in Overland Park this morning.
There's a crash in the area. Daniela Leon just got there. Let's see what she can tell us. Good morning, Daniela.
Hey, good morning, Lindsay and Taylor. Well, right now I'm at the intersection of College and Metcalf, where you will see a tow truck just arrive, and they are working on currently clearing the scene. We know that this crash happened around 5:20 this morning. It only involved this one car that you see on your screen. We were told the driver has been taken to a hospital where they are currently in stable condition. So again, first responders are here. They're working on clearing up this crash. We expect to get it all clear and under control here in the next coming minutes. Back to you.
All right, Danielle Leon live for us this morning in Overland Park. Danielle, we'll keep checking in. Thank you so much.
Here's your latest Kansas City forecast from meteorologist Lindsay Anderson.
All right, everyone, almost 6:16 here on this Tuesday morning.
All right, Linz, thank you. 6:18 this morning. KSHB 41, a voice for everyone. And this morning we're highlighting a group that you might not always hear from on the news.
Yeah, this one involves a KCK nonprofit helping refugee women living here in the Kansas City area, teaching them how to sew.
So before KSHB 41 news reporter Daniela Leon left for some breaking news, she filed this report explaining how this is helping these women build up their community.
This group of refugee women are moving the needle.
Life is better here.
Each of them representing different parts of the world.
We lived, I born in Bhutan.
Born in Congo and then was raised in Uganda.
At least once a week, they roll up their sleeves and come together at Stitching Change, where they take scrap and surplus fabric and create handmade products they can sell.
I'm making a bag and I love it.
So it do help me with my future because I want to be a fashion designer.
But their greatest design is the space they've created that will never go out of style.
It's not only to provide them skills, but also to provide them a place where they can come together, to sing their song, to speak their language.
Changing their lives one stitch at a time.
It's their social time. Like, the most beautiful things that I have encountered by being with them for a long time is they will just sit here, talk, and then they just laugh out loud. And that is such a beautiful thing for me, that they come together and to have this friendship.
Just how lovely, right? So later this fall, Stitching Change will continue to expand their reach. They're going to team up with other nonprofits.
And they plan to offer refugee women business startup courses so they can learn how to run and start their own businesses right from their own home.
They are always looking for donated materials.
Yeah.
They need fabric or thread. You know, you've got some stack sitting by your sewing machine.
That you don't need.
Right. You can also make monetary donations to them. You can just go to their website, Stitching Change. All right, 6:20 this morning, a bus driver shortage At one Missouri school has left parents scrambling for new alternatives. More on that coming up at 6:33.
And former President Donald Trump facing another indictment. Congressional correspondent Stephanie Liebergen joins us to break down the details coming up at 6:30.
And next at 6:24, we're going over what Native Hawaiians here in Kansas City are doing as those deadly wildfires and the devastation after continues through Maui.
Welcome back at 6:24 now on your Tuesday morning. The governor of Hawaii says 99 people now confirmed dead in the Lahaina wildfire, making it the deadliest wildfire in modern U.S. history. At least 2,700 buildings were either damaged or destroyed. Damage across the island of Maui estimated at about $6 billion. And now survivors are sharing what they saw.
When the cars started exploding, they went off one by one. It was incredibly scary. The whole ground would shake. We should have gotten an alert. We should have had, a text or something telling us to evacuate, because now people were actively dying in front of me, and that was horrifying.
Other survivors still trying to find their missing loved ones. They right now are saying more than 1,000 people are unaccounted for in Hawaii.
This weekend, Native Hawaiians in the KC area are going to be at the Ethnic Enrichment Festival in Swope Park. They're collecting donations for the wildfire victims, and you can donate by visiting the Hawaii booth Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 18th Street Expressway in Kansas City, Kansas is back open after 5 people were hurt overnight in a crash. KCKPD says it happened just before 8 o'clock last night in the southbound lanes of 18th Street Expressway at the Metropolitan exit. They say they're investigating what exactly led to that crash, but they say all 5 of the people involved had to go to the hospital. They had serious injuries, but they were not life-threatening, fortunately. Police also say one of the people involved was a minor. We'll let you know if we learn more.
Scammers taking new approaches to get your money.
Yep, what Evergy says you should do to not fall for these scams coming up at 6:35.
Plus, a new task force in Kansas City is trying to hold local businesses accountable that have the high number of incidents at their locations. Their plans coming up.
And the former 45th president facing new legal woes in Georgia, but not alone. Why this indictment can look different from the other 3. That's coming up at 6:45.
A voice for everyone. Breaking news on KSHB 41 News starts right now.
Almost 6:30 on your Tuesday morning, and right now eastbound College Boulevard at Metcalf and Overland Park is shut down.
There's a crash in the area. Daniela Leon just got there. Daniela, have any update for us?
Yeah, hey, good morning. Taylor and Lindsay. Well, eastbound College Boulevard remains closed. As you can see here, this tow truck driver got here about 10 minutes ago. They're still working on towing away the vehicle that was involved in this single car crash. Now, take a look at your screen. Here's video that we were able to capture earlier this morning. It is still unclear what led up to the single vehicle crash. We do know that the driver was taken to a nearby hospital, but they currently updated us on their condition, and it appears that that driver is in stable condition. Again, they are working on clearing the scene. Eastbound College Boulevard remains blocked off, so if you have to take eastbound College, use an alternate route. Reporting in Overland Park, Daniela Leon, KSHB 41 News. Back to you guys.
All right, Daniela, thank you very much. Back to our top story this morning. Former President Donald Trump and several of his allies now facing an indictment in Georgia. They're accused of trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in that state. It's the 4th criminal case to be brought against the former president, and it was prompted by a 2-year-long investigation.
Now we're joined by congressional correspondent Stephanie Liebergen. So, Stephanie, good morning. Walk us through the charges in this indictment.
Hey there, good morning. Well, the indictment came down kind of late last night after what you would typically consider court hours. And in this indictment, it charges not only former President Trump, but also 18 of his allies. And there are 41 counts in this indictment, but not every defendant is facing every count. The one thing all of them are charged with is violating Georgia's RICO law. That's that racketeering law we were expecting this case to be filed under. The other charges laid out in this indictment vary. They've got some forgery, perjury, conspiracy to commit election fraud, filing false statements or writings, trying to influence witnesses, trying to solicit the violation of an oath of a public official. That one, an example of that is that now infamous phone call between former President Trump and Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, where he was asked to find 11,000 some votes to try to overturn those election results. So this indictment, I would say biggest scope indictment we have had yet in all of the criminal cases that are facing the former president, who is, of course, still running for election in 2024.
And Stephanie, I think that's probably the main question coming from this is the ticking clock aspect of his campaign for president. Now, we've got about a year now until he is going to be on the ballot potentially as a Republican nominee if he were to get that far. How does the timeline look for this particular indictment? When do they want to take this to trial?
Well, the district attorney, Fani Willis, is, I think, a little ambitious in the timeline she's asking for. She said in her very late-night press conference last night that she is going to ask the judge to set a trial date that is just 6 months out. But, of course, that is up to the judge in this case. And I think we could safe to say that the former president and his legal team and potentially other defendants would ask for the trial date to be set later. We've seen in other cases that former president's legal team asked for trial dates to be set even after the 2024 election, so after November of next year. But it really is up to the judge in this case on what the schedule looks like moving forward. But the first thing that needs to happen is an arraignment for all of these defendants. Willis said last night that she has issued arrest warrants for all 19 defendants, and she is giving everyone until Friday next week, so the 25th at 12 o'clock Eastern time, giving them all time to voluntarily turn themselves in.
Stephanie, as we talk about some of these faces, we've got just about 30 seconds left with you. We've seen some of the pictures. We put those up. Some of these are people that may be recognizable from political coverage over the last year or so, right? These are faces we know?
A lot of these are faces and names we know. At least a few of the attorneys that we know were involved in a lot of the media attention and media interviews, and they spoke before the Georgia Legislative Committee hearing claiming these election fraud and stolen election claims. So Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, among the attorneys that you kind of heard from the most in the immediate aftermath of the 2020 election, but also the former president's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, also one of the named defendants in this case. So while there are some very well-known names, there are also some names that the average bear probably hasn't heard of, some people that you probably don't even have a picture in your mind of. So that's something that as this case progresses, as everyone digs into this indictment, as they need to show up for that arraignment probably sometime in the next week or a half, we'll continue to learn more about these defendants and as the case proceeds over the coming months.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. Kansas City police still looking for this missing 5-year-old girl. We're going to show you her picture soon. We have it at KSHB.com. There it is. This is Amelia Marek. She's 5 years old. She was last seen about 9:30 last night at the area of 17th and Bennington. She's 4 feet tall, brown hair, brown eyes. Just stop for a second and look at her picture. If you see her, call 911 right away. All right, 6:34 this morning. Just like weather-wise, a beautiful start to the day. Let's get to meteorologist Lindsay Anderson. What do you think about today? Is it going to stay nice and cool?
Yes, absolutely. We're thinking another day of 10 degrees below average. So, gosh, it's just so...
Thank you. 6:35 this morning. First day of class for several students in lots of school districts.
So let's go over who does start today in the Basehor-Linwood School District. Kindergartners through 6th grade go back, as well as high school freshmen. All students head back for the Lewisburg School District. Leavenworth Unified School District and St. James Academy all goes back. And in Shawnee Mission, they're sending back 1st through 7th graders, also freshmen and seniors. Kindergartner through freshmen have their first day in the Spring Hill School District as well. So a lot of kind of stagger step of people going back in certain districts, but it's all getting rolling today on the Kansas side especially. As those students are in class today, other districts getting ready for their classes to be back in session. That means making sure kids can actually get to their campuses.
Well, that has been a challenge for some schools like Academy Lafayette and Kansas City. Tomorrow's their first day, but we just heard the school announced they're not going to have bus transportation for families at their Cherry campus this week. School leaders say the bus service for students doesn't have enough drivers. We heard from parents who say they're concerned about the unexpected challenges this is going to create.
It means that every day until things iron out, it's going to be like the wild, wild west for child transportation.
Olathe students started school last week. They've also experienced bus driver shortages in the past. We talked a lot about this over the last year or so. We checked in with DS Bus Lines, who contracts drivers for Olathe. They say they're looking to hire about 20 more drivers. We heard from one woman who's been driving school buses for nearly 20 years to get her perspective on why people should apply.
I love driving this. Yes, it's a big vehicle. It's 40 feet long. A lot of people look at that and go, wow, you drive a bus? Why? I go, I love it. The kids are great.
Hey, there's no more precious cargo, right? Starting pay with DS Bus Lines, about $19 per hour.
The company offers thousands of dollars for referrals and hiring bonuses as well. A warning this morning before you pay your next utility bill. Evergy says fake websites and phone numbers are popping up if you just search Pay Evergy or do a similar search on Google.
It's so frustrating. You're just trying to pay your bills.
Just trying to pay your bill.
They say scammers are using them to take personal credit card information, so they have this advice for customers. Evergy says, don't assume the information on your caller ID is always accurate. Isn't that wild? Can't even trust your caller ID. And never give out personal financial information over the phone unless you know for sure who you are talking with, and they are convincing. The company is also asking anybody who sees a fake website, a phone number, or even an ad to report it to them. Ugh.
Look at this sky this morning. We're at 62 degrees to start your Tuesday morning. Cloudy, but borderline cool out there. Lindsay Anderson has another look at your forecast coming up at 6:40. Almost 6:45 now, and just looking back to breaking news. Eastbound lanes of College Boulevard and Overland Park back open this morning after one person was hurt in this crash. We have video of the scene from earlier this morning near College and Metcalf. A really damaged car there, but it's the only one involved. Police still not exactly sure what happened there. One person was taken to the hospital after this. We're told they're stable this morning, and that car has been removed by a tow truck. That intersection back open this morning in OP. Former President Donald Trump has been criminally indicted again. This time a state prosecutor in Georgia bringing charges against Trump.
Now, this is the fourth set of criminal charges he faces. A 98-page indictment includes 41 charges against former President Trump, 18 of his allies as well, including his former chief of staff Mark Meadows and attorney Rudy Giuliani. So all of this related to his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. All of the defendants, including the former president, have 10 days to turn themselves in to Georgia officials voluntarily. In about 15 minutes, the Today Show is going to have continuing coverage of this indictment.
Blaine Alexander is in Georgia this morning with a preview.
I'm Blaine Alexander in Fulton County, Georgia, where former President Donald Trump and 18 of his allies have just been indicted. For the former president, this is now a fourth indictment. In a late-night news conference, District Attorney Fani Willis said that she's giving Trump and the other defendants until next Friday, until the 25th, to come down and surrender in Atlanta. Coming up this morning on Today, we'll dig further into this indictment. We'll also tell you how she's pushing back against those claims by the former president that this was a politically motivated attack. That's coming up this morning on Today.
And of course, the Today Show starts at 7 o'clock right here on KSHB 41, coming up in less than 15 minutes. As former President Trump faces those new indictments in Georgia, the property manager of his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida is due back in court to face charges in a separate case. Carlos Oliveira is accused of trying to help Trump delete video evidence in the classified documents probe, which he's also facing charges for. This man is now facing conspiracy and obstruction charges. Expected to enter a plea today. Trump and his body man have already pleaded not guilty to the charges. They did that last week.
This morning, rescue teams in Maui combing through wildfire destruction, hoping to find and rescue more people. The flames have killed at least 99, making it the deadliest U.S. wildfire disaster in more than a century. And officials say hundreds of people are still missing. Just awful. Thousands of buildings have been destroyed. The damage estimated to cost more than $5 billion.
Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas will announce the plans this morning for his multidisciplinary public safety task force. It was established last month with a goal of improving businesses and establishments with a high number of incidents, complaints, and business violations. The mayor will announce those plans this morning at 9.
Evergy says scammers are using fake websites and numbers to try to steal credit card information from customers. So they say the links and numbers are popping up if you search Pay Evergy or similar searches on Google. That's what's coming up, the scam websites. The company's asking anybody who sees a fake website or ad to report it to Evergy.
Here's your latest Kansas City forecast from meteorologist Lindsay Anderson.
All right, everybody, 6:47.
Lindsay, thank you. First day of school for more districts in our area, including Shawnee Mission, one of the biggest on the Kansas side.
While they head back to school, we know there are districts across the country that are still facing bus driver shortages. In fact, NBC News reports a survey by Hop Skip Drive showed it's impacting 80% of school districts across the U.S. It's happening here in KC too.
So, KSHB 41 News reporter Elise Schoening is live for us this morning to explain how it's impacting one school, Academy Lafayette, in a big way. One campus where you're saying not going to be possible at all, right?
Yeah, that's right, Taylor. And they're saying that they just simply couldn't have seen this coming. And that's because the bus company that they use, which is First Student, doesn't have enough drivers to make the elementary routes at this campus, the Cherry campus, happen. So parents now need to think about things like changing work schedules, carpooling, and even sibling adjustments. We spoke to one parent who says the 5 days notice that she had really felt like zero.
Just means that every day until things iron out, it's going to be like the wild, wild west for child transportation.
The wild, wild west, it sure is. And the school says it will have its own buses with limited transportation on Monday, and then those full services should be back come August 28th.
All right, Elise Schoening live for us this morning. Elise, thank you very much. The Olathe School District back in class. They're still trying to deal with bus driver shortages as well.
They've hired 11 drivers since last year. They're hoping to hire 20 more for this school year. We talked to one driver last week as well as DS Bus Lines about those shortages.
Not only did we drive our regular route, we might have helped out with another route. We might have done a couple of trips that day, to help out. Anything we could do to get the kids around and where they needed to go.
We are in a year of adjustment because of less routes out there. We need more routes out there, but parents, we're all in this kind of together because they're having to make some sacrifices.
Starting pay with DS Bus Lines around $19 per hour. The company offers thousands of dollars for referrals and hiring bonuses.
Other districts also working to make sure there's enough drivers to get students to and from school this year. One parent in Lee Summit hopes there will be more drivers because there were some issues already last school year.
It took him about an hour to get home when he did ride the bus, just because there was just not enough bus drivers.
So district leaders in Lee Summit told us they did see some improvement, and they're almost fully staffed this year, but they have to battle other districts for their drivers too. One thing they credit for bringing in drivers is higher pay from a levy transfer voted in April in Lee Summit. We're keeping you caught up on how schools and families are preparing for this school year. You can find all the stories we've done right now on KSHB.com. Just click on the Back to School tab at the top of the homepage. 6:53 on your Tuesday morning. KSHB 41's I-Team investigating a raid on a small Kansas newspaper. It's called the Marion County Record over First Amendment concerns. It's a story that is gaining national attention. It's all over social media right now. Officers in Marion say the search was over what they call identity theft.
It's believed to have been prompted by a story last Wednesday when Congressman Jake LaTurner visited a local restaurant. And apparently the owner of the restaurant asked the reporters to leave, accusing the newspaper of partially fabricating previous stories and using her credentials to get information only available to law enforcement.
So our senior I-Team reporter Jessica Master traveled to Marion on Monday.
And she got the chance to meet with people working at the newspaper, hear their concerns about the unprecedented raid.
It's worth it for the people who took the documents from and took the servers from us. I don't know what they're going to find.
And I hear Sherry. And I looked up, and there's the police chief and a county deputy standing there. You need to come outside. And it was just like, why? What's going on?
So the Kansas Bureau of Investigation told our I-Team it's also investigating the newspaper. We were the first to break the KBI-issued statement that read in part, KBI did not apply for the search warrants, nor was their agent present for the search, and continues, no one is above the law, whether public official or representative of the media. All right, take a second here. Kansas City police say they need your help to find this missing 5-year-old girl. Here's her picture. Her name is Amelia Marek. She's 5 years old. Last seen about 9:30 last night around 17th and Bennington. 4 feet tall, brown hair, brown eyes. If you see her, call 911 right away.
Kansas City's International Airport holding a hiring fair today. Employers will be on hand to interview and hire on the spot for a wide range of careers. We're talking police officers to bartenders. The fair is from 10 this morning until 2 o'clock at the lower arrivals level, baggage claim carousel 2. There's going to be free parking across the street in the garage, or you can get a free ride out to the airport through Ride KC if you'd like to go.
Tomorrow, the Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred, going to be in KC as the Royals keep looking where to build that new stadium in the city. He's expected to talk about how new ballparks and the districts surrounding them impact their local communities. The Royals have narrowed down their stadium locations to 2 spots, the East Village in downtown Kansas City, Missouri, and a site just across the river just a few miles north in North Kansas City. This event is not open to the public.
All right, KSHB 41, you're home to the Chiefs. The squad starts their last couple of days at training camp up in St. Joe after they had the day off yesterday. Practices at 9:15 this morning. We'll hear from Coach Reed afterwards.
Yeah, fans who go to camp today, they'll have a chance to get autographs from the defensive backs. They have autograph sessions every day of practice this week, all before the team heads off for their preseason game on Saturday. Chiefs will play at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, taking on the Cardinals, where they won the Super Bowl, in case you forgot. Kickoff at 7. You can join us for pregame coverage at 6 right here on KSHB 41, your home of the Chiefs.
So there are only 3 days left of training camp where you can go and visit, today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and it looks like the weather's going to work out pretty great for that.
Yeah, no storms, nothing to worry about. I mean, by Thursday, it is going to get a little warmer, but the best part here is the humidity really doesn't creep back in until maybe the weekend, but even the weekend doesn't even look too extreme either. So
Except
the air temps.
degrees.
Yeah, the air temps are unbelievable. But yeah, we're going to rise about 20 degrees warmer in the next 5 days. Enjoy the 70s today, one more day of it, and you can see each day from here on out really does get quite steamy.
August trying to hang on for dear life.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
oh yeah, dog days of summer now here. I know it has been so humid. It was such a nice break last night.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Linz, thank you.
Remember, we do another hour of local news on our sister station, 38 The Spot. You can switch over there and watch right now, or you can keep it right here for the Today Show on KSHB 41.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great Tuesday.